Soil is one of the most critical elements for your plants. Obviously, soil provides the moisture, it provides the nutrients, and it provides the structure for the plant to develop. And roughly, there are 4 different types of soils in the UK. Clay soil, sandy soil, silty soil, and there's what we call loamy soil, which is a mixture of the first 3 and is thought to be one of the most desirable soils. Now, different soils have different attributes. For example, clay soil in the wintertime, as many of you probably know, can become very heavy, very wet, very sticky, and in the summer it can become very dry, very hard and cracked. And sandy soils, they drain very, very well and they're very manageable throughout the year, but because they drain so well, the nutrients tend to be leached out, so those soils tend to be poorer. So, there's pros and cons for both clay and sandy soils. But how do you tell what kind of soil you have? You sort of just get a piece of soil and you squeeze it like this and try and make it into a ball shape. With clay soil, that'll actually form a ball and it'll feel like modelling clay and it doesn't want to fall apart. If you did that with a sandy soil, again, it wouldn't form that ball, it would crumble and fall apart. And I've got here probably a soil called a sandy loam. Now I've tried to form a ball with it, but it doesn't really want to play ball, to be honest, and it's just sort of falling apart, not sticking. So I haven't got a clay soil, I haven't got a completely sandy soil, but I've got kind of that sandy loam, that kind of middleish kind of soil. A silty soil, if you put a bit of silty soil in your hand and just wet the soil, it'll feel soapy. So how do you rectify these problems with your soil? Strange thing is, the same solution applies to both types of soil. And that's adding loads and loads of organic material. It can be your own garden compost, it can be leaf mould, it can be spent compost. But what this organic material does in a clay soil, it just opens the soil up a little bit. It allows the moisture to drain through a little bit more, and it makes that clay soil a little bit more crumbly, less sticky and cohesive. And in a sandy soil, what it'll actually do, it'll add structure to that sandy soil so it holds on to those nutrients longer. They're not washed out and leached through as quick. But of course, there's other elements to soil as well. There's something called pH, known as potential hydrogen, and that goes on a scale from acid through to neutral through to alkaline. And different plants enjoy different types of pH. For example, rhododendrons, azaleas, camellias, like an acid soil. Things like dianthus and lilacs, like a very alkaline soil. Generally, most plants thrive in the middle area, in the neutral soil. How do you know what type of soil you've got? Well, you can buy pH testing kits, which are great fun and easy to use. You just put a little bit of soil into a tube like this, add a solution, and then you can actually drip that solution onto little testing strips. And after waiting for a while, you get a colour reaction on these actual testing strips. And by matching that against the bottle here, you can tell exactly what type of pH you've got. On the sample I tried, came to about neutral, which is great. That means loads and loads of different plants are going to survive in that soil. Good to find out exactly what pH you've got. You can also use a meter like this. Literally, you just push that into the ground. That will give you the pH. This one also measures moisture levels in the ground, and it also measures light levels. So that's a 3-in-1. But there's other things. There's what we call NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. They're the 3 main elements that plants require. And you can test for those as well. Again, with a testing kit, very similar to the pH kit. You can get a reaction, get a little vial like this. It gives you a colour change. And by matching that against a little chart we've got here, that will indicate to you how much nitrogen, how much phosphorus, how much potassium you've got in the soil. And if it's lacking one of those, you can then use, for example, a granular feed or a liquid feed to actually improve that and change that and get that soil to be the nutrient level you need it to be. Don't let soil kind of worry you. It's very easy to kind of get little testing kits and then correct the problems in the soil and get the soil to be what your plants want and need it to be.